is fine, isn't it? Here you go. A former WWE champion is in talks for a 2020 return to the company. Big names have been confirmed for next week's Raw. And CM Punk says a WWE Superstar has been requesting a match. Find out who in a little bit. Yesterday was possibly the weirdest day in the history of all wrestling. On top of WrestleMania, announced as emanating from the Performance Center this year, there is a former WWE champion who is apparently in talks to come back into the company.
I think I might be delirious. We are talking about Alberto Del Rio, Alberto El Patron. Saying in an interview, "We've been in communication," referring to himself and WWE. "We have rebuilt the bridge. On their part, they were wrong on some decisions. And also, I did some things that were wrong on my part. Don't worry about that. I am hoping that we can reach an agreement sometime this year or by the middle of this year, and I will be back there." Thoughts on this, Tom?
Well,
I'll say it for you. No, thank you. No.
We're in lockdown at the the We're good.
Don't worry about it, Del. It's fine.
Give us a call in like 2047.
Yeah,
maybe.
The thing is, like, I don't want to just sit here and brag on Del Rio.
Why?
Well, yeah, because the guy had a lot of good qualities about him, a lot of not good qualities as well. But he had charisma. He could go. He was all right in the ring. Like, his matches were never amazing or anything, but they were always good. And the guy, I don't know, there was something about him that, like, I when he was there doing the heel shtick, I kind of enjoyed watching him. I thought he was a pretty good classic heel. But some of the stuff that the guy's done, I just don't want to see him back.
There are far better people doing what what Alberto Del Rio is doing.
I think you might have let one slip there.
Yeah, Thomas. I did. Yeah, I meant Andrade. Obviously, the connection, the sort of the Mexican connection, is there. But someone like Andrade is doing the sort of thing that Alberto Del Rio was doing, but 1,000 times better. And away from the Mexican connection, there's just a lot of better sort of heels in that top flight picture than Albert of the River. I'll be honest, this isn't something I was clamouring to see again.
No, I think the time's passed. He's gone off, he's done other stuff, and you know what, I hope he's successful in everything he does, but personally, I don't really want to see him back.
It wouldn't shock me if he comes back.
No, of course not.
Only because, like, WWE have a phenomenal history of letting back people who have really fallen out with the company. Mm-hmm. Like, they have quite a story with it, and all I can think of as his stories going on is Del Rio doing that hammered Periscope video in the middle of Times Square talking about, hey, I'm going to fight the guy with the big nose and all this stuff. Like, calling out Triple H on Periscope like a child. Yeah. And like, so it shows you the staying power of WWE for them to even entertain Albert calling and going, what do you reckon, lads? Because I'd have just left the phone off the hook, gone into the other room, done some filing.
I mean, this is based on his words. Who knows if it's even true?
I mean, there is that.
Who knows? Well. Yeah, I don't personally want to see him back. Let us know in the comments. Would you want to see Alberto come back and have some average main event matches?
More cancellation news. Had a lot of that lately. So AEW have been talking about their future plans regarding episodes of Dynamite, and they put out a statement yesterday.
Until further notice, live episodes of Dynamite will be produced at closed set locations with essential personnel only. We appreciate your understanding, as the safety and well-being of our fans and talent is always our top priority, of course. We will continue to closely monitor this evolving situation and be guided by government officials, health organisations and venue management. So doing something very, very similar to WWE here. It's the right thing to be doing. If you're going to a live AEW show, it's not going to be happening. It's going to be taking place from a closed set with so no audience again. It's another weird few weeks of TV coming up from everywhere.
How have you felt watching the wrestling without a crowd? I've seen it turning up on sort of mainstream news sites and talking about like how cringy is this to watch, and like I wouldn't say it was cringy, it's very peculiar. What do you think?
It is peculiar. Have you seen the video that somebody made of the Big Bang Theory with the laugh track taken away?
Yes.
It sort of feels like that because the crowd guide your emotions when you're watching wrestling. Obviously you know how to react for the most part, but I guess you're in some way sort of enabled by the crowd. When they're excited, it's more fun to be excited too. And then when you've got Austin coming out in front of nobody yesterday and you want to be, it's just, it's a bit weird. I don't find it cringy. It's just it's necessary, but it does feel odd. It makes me a little bit uneasy.
Yes.
It's just not the wrestling that I've grown up with, of course it's not. And but what I love about wrestling is the spectacle of the whole thing. It's the crowd, it's the audience participation, it's the loud noises, the lights and all of that stuff. And we've got a sort of weird little version of that right now.
It is odd, the reaction from crowd. I mean, fair play to Byron Saxton for attempting to do that last night during Steve Austin's
Getting hoofed in the balls, which Austin's apologised for, don't you worry.
That's all right. Bless you, Byron. More cancelled news. Cancelled. NWA Power.
This is sad, isn't it? NWA
God.
releasing a statement yesterday. The National Wrestling Alliance, given the uncertain course of this world health crisis, is... Can you just take over from that word? Suspending.
Some spendings, non-lumberantions. NWA have been in off for a bit. I was excited for the Crockett Cup. I was excited for future episodes of Power. So this includes upcoming Atlanta, Georgia events, the Crockett Cup on the 19th of April, the Gateway Center Arena, tapings for Power and the G. I thought Power would be all right. I thought they'd be under the 50-person remit. Like, I thought of all the companies that would continue rocking on, it would be NWA Power, but apparently not. They've cancelled their tapings as well. Also, the Superpower episode.
Superpower.
Oh, so sad.
On Tuesday, March 17th, which promoted these events, will not air in its current form in order to not create confusion in the marketplace. Saying it won't air in its current form, maybe they'll put something together.
They do have a good little habit of putting together special packages and stuff.
Yeah.
Certain episodes. The Circle Squared, which I'm on, big fan of that. Do you know what? Of all the things that are happening this week, NWA Power going, I'm quite sad about.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's just really fun to watch, isn't it?
Good.
Really, really
so
fun.
Much fun. It really is.
It's pretty much everywhere at this point have cancelled shows. There's not much happening, with the exception of WrestleMania from the Performance Center, obviously. We will keep you updated as best we can with any further cancellations. As soon as we know, you will know.
The show must go on, says Queen, and says WWE, as they have made some announcements on next week's episode of Monday Night Raw. I love the fact that they continue to persevere. Like, both AEW and WWE continue to persevere, but it just seems so weird. Like, hey, big episode of Raw next week. Like, another slightly uncomfortable episode involving some big stars. We had some announcements for who is going to be on Monday Night Raw next week.
The WWE Champion, Brock Lesnar, will be there, and also the man facing him at the sold-out WrestleMania 36, Drew McIntyre, will be there also, furthering their build to the title match. Orton's going to be on the episode to respond to Edge's challenge for the Last Man Standing event at WrestleMania. And yeah, so that's what's announced so far. Speaking of Edge, did you see that you have to drive piss and light? Was it 15 hours to get there? Bless him.
And you know what? He cut a blind of a promo in the process.
Amazing. You know what? That was one thing that was made better by nobody there. That's, I think, the one thing on the show. Everything else felt a bit weird, but the intensity from Edge was exaggerated by the fact that there was nobody around him. It was really, really great.
I love the idea of Edge and Randy Orton potentially sort of emulating Rock and Mankind's empty arena match. Like their Last Man Standing match, you have it just tear the place apart. You really got to fight through the stands. It would be good
if every other match wasn't also an empty arena match.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
it is true. But like, I want to see them like throwing each other into the chairs, coming off the
I'm sure they will.
Balcony, Statler and Waldorf position at the Performance Center, coming off there and everything.
I'm sure they will, but everyone else will want to do that too.
That's very, very true. Also on Raw last night, as you know, they aired the entire Royal Rumble match. What will they air next week to pad for time?
Rumble 92. I know it's not really Rumble season.
Be amazing.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? It's a good laugh. I don't know, maybe a Brock WrestleMania match they might throw in there. Not the Goldberg one, please. They might. I don't know. I really don't know.
We might get to see Goldberg versus The Fiend again.
Maybe.
Just to remind us of what now appear as halcyon days.
No, they'll save that for SmackDown, won't they? Maybe.
Maybe.
Let us know what you think in the comments. What are they going to play next week? Just put on an episode of Sanford and Son. Bollocks to it.
And finalemo, CM Punk glad we get to end on something that feels normal, like CM Punk getting back into a wrestling ring. Oh, do you remember when that was all the news?
It was for a 2 or 3 year period.
Glorious days.
So after WWE announced that WrestleMania 36 was going to be taking place in the Performance Center, CM Punk putting out a very 2015 tweet. Well, that's one way to make sure Roman finally gets booed and nobody chants for me. That's what he tweeted. One fan tweeted back saying how this sucks for Edge, basically, because it's going to be his first match back in 9 years and it's going to be taking place in front of nobody. And Punk responded, oh, yeah. That for sure sucks. Another fan responding to Punk saying, is this you begging for a return? Like you did on Backstage? No crowd reaction seems to be in your element.
Oh my.
Punk taking the bait. Nommy nom nom. Responding saying, I'm not the one texting begging for a match with me at Mania. Eyes emoji. Who can it be? Oh, let's just speculate. Let's finish this off with some speculation.
I want to speculate on who the fan is. Is it Sam Driver? Because Sam has a history. I blame this whole thing on Sam still. I don't know why. I just do.
Epidemic?
Yes. Chaotic evil Sam Driver.
Okay.
I somehow feel like I somehow think in a
you
nine.
Tell him.
I somehow feel like in a not to his face. I sometimes feel like in a 9 pitches meeting you might have said WrestleMania should come out of the Performance Center, and I feel like the universe conspired to make it happen.
Sounds like something Sam would say.
It really does. So who could Punk be talking about?
I hope it's Corbin.
It feels like it could potentially be a Corbin type move.
Vince. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it, is he? Oh, I'd love to see AJ Punk.
Alan and Punk hanging out together. Who else would CM Punk? I mean, Seth Rollins potentially.
It could be Rollins.
Seth, when CM
they had
Punk
the
was
beef,
on,
didn't they? There you go. He's figured it out.
Kicking out that beef.
There you go. Well, it's not going to happen anyway. So.
Well, if it does, it's not going to be in front of many people.
No. Anyway, right. Let's talk a little bit about Cultaholic before we go. This is now officially our last day in the office. We're having a staggered closure throughout the day where various editors are going home. And we've taken the decision as a company to continue operating Cultaholic from home for the next few weeks. We don't know how long this is going to last, in fact. So government guidelines or government advice says if you can work from home, work from home. So we for the past week offered everyone that option. So if people wanted to work from home, they could work from home. But I think we're in the position now where it makes sense to send people home and have them work from home where possible for the safety of everyone, because you never know who's coming into contact with who might be coming into contact with a vulnerable person, an elderly person or whatever. So I think this is truly the right thing to do. So our shows will continue. I don't think there's anything that we're not going to be able to do, but things might look a little bit different. News, for example, Jack is going to be heading up on his own every single morning. So fair play to Jack for that. Tom will continue. There's lots and lots of audio stuff going out over the next few weeks.
So basically, in terms of if you are a fan of the podcast schedule doesn't change. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'm probably adding more.
Yes.
Since I have a bit more time, I'm adding more podcasts.
So go and check that out. Cultaholic is on Spotify, iTunes, Acast. It's everywhere. Tom will also be taking over from me on Raw Graded. You're going to sit doing NXT Graded also. I'm going to do SmackDown Graded. Jack's going to continue with AEW Graded, being very careful not to touch you there. WTF Moments will absolutely continue. The podcast is going to happen, but it's going to happen via voice over IP somehow. So the podcast, the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast will continue. And I think what's going to happen, because this is going to be really financially damaging to us. There's no point making, lying about that. This is going to suck for us. To try and make a little bit more money, perhaps, to try and because this is going to suck. I'm going to live stream every evening. I think 7 days a week, probably starting tomorrow. I'd love to hear your recommendations on what I should be streaming. I've got a PS4 at home. I can get some games for that. I don't really want to play 2K20, so don't put me through that. But that's what's good.
All my videos will be sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Yes! I've made it!
They won't
Raid
touch us.
Shadow Legends! Why? What?
No,
Do they not email back?
We don't do the video sponsorships.
I
know, right.
They won't, they'll understand.
Okay.
They know I love Raid Shadow Legends.
Who
Fight
doesn't?
on. Fight on.
on.
This is a really, really tough time for everybody involved. We are taking action. And we're being proactive rather than reactive in doing this. We don't do it lightly. I bloody love sitting next to this man on a daily basis. Genuinely is the best. And not too close though. And it's the first chance we get to be back to normal, we will be back to normal. But thank you for continuing to support Cultaholic. We genuinely couldn't do it without you there. You probably won't really notice a whole lot of difference.
Oh, I think they will. I think they will. Things aren't going to look as nice as they do now. There's none of this green screen malarkey going on.
Pablo's doing NXT.
Right. Thank you very much, as Tom says, for supporting us. And to everyone watching this, please stay safe. Hug the ones you love, but maybe with a bit of plastic
Wash your hands
between you
before,
or so,
during, and after.
Yeah, take care.
Love you, bye.